Ryan's World has been a YouTube sensation for years, captivating millions of young viewers with toy unboxings and playful content. But as Ryan grows older, a question looms. What happens next? How does the brand pivot as its young star matures? Today, we'll explore the sustainability of Ryan's World and whether the Kaji family can adapt to a new era. Could Ryan's younger siblings, Emma and Kate, step into his shoes? Or is Ryan's World an empire on the brink of collapse? Ryan's World started as a seemingly innocent family project and grew into a multi-million-dollar empire. Ryan Kaji was just a toddler when his journey as a YouTube star began, unboxing toys and reviewing products. The channel's charm lay in its simplicity, a young boy having fun and sharing his excitement. By 2018, Ryan's World was a household name, with TV shows, toy lines, and even a movie under its belt. At its peak, the channel made over $30 million, annually, numbers that made Ryan one of the highest paid YouTubers. However, with fame came scrutiny. Hidden sponsorships, manipulative advertising, and questions about Ryan's well-being began to surface. Ryan's World was no longer just about fun, it had become a corporate machine driven by profits. Despite the scandals, the Kaji family pushed forward, expanding their empire as Ryan's image became a brand plastered across store shelves worldwide. But as Ryan enters his teenage years, it's becoming evident that he may be outgrowing the role his parents have cast him in. The cheerful unboxing videos don't have the same charm when the child star seems visibly older and less interested. Ryan's parents, Lan and Shayon Kaji, have always maintained that Ryan loves making videos, but how much of that is true and how much is pressure to maintain their lucrative brand? The once mighty YouTube juggernaut has shown signs of slowing down. Views are down, toys aren't selling like they used to, and public interest is waning. It's as if the internet has collectively decided, let Ryan retire. The strain is apparent, and yet instead of easing Ryan out of the limelight, his parents seem more intent than ever on keeping the show running. As Ryan grows older, the Kaji family seems ready to pivot to their next big project. Emma and Kate, Ryan's younger twin sisters. EK World, their new venture, has made it clear that the torch is being passed. The younger siblings are being positioned as the new faces of the brand, with all the same brightly colored sets, cheerful antics, and carefully marketed merchandise. But can Emma and Kate truly fill Ryan's shoes? And at what cost? Ryan's journey from playful toddler to reluctant brand ambassador serves as a cautionary tale. It raises questions about how much of this is truly in the best interest of the children involved. Are Emma and Kate destined to face the same pressures that Ryan has endured, all for the sake of keeping the money train rolling? While Emma and Kate are taking on more screen time, Ryan still finds himself front and center in many videos. It's as if the Kaji parents aren't quite ready to let go of their golden goose. Even as Ryan shows signs of wanting to explore other interests, like animation, something he's mentioned in interviews, he remains tethered to the brand that made him famous. The reality is that Ryan has been working since he was 3.5 years old. He deserves the chance to have a normal childhood, free from the pressures of constant content creation. And yet, the push to keep him involved suggests that his parents are more focused on sustaining their brand than on Ryan's personal growth.
I want to be like an animator. I think it's really fun to do because like the drawing and then like at the end you get to see the whole thing and see what you've like worked on the whole time.
EK World is being marketed as a fresh chapter for the Kaji brand, but it's hard not to see it as more of the same. The colorful sets, the endless product promotions, and the forced cheerfulness all feel familiar. Emma and Kate are charming, but the formula is identical, and that raises concerns about whether the Kaji family is simply repeating history. It's like a family version of the Hunger Games. As soon as one child hits burnout, the next one is thrust into the spotlight. The internet has taken notice, with comments like "Free the Kaji kids" and "Let Ryan retire already" becoming common under their videos. The question is, how long can this go on before the audience loses interest entirely? Ryan's World isn't just a story about one boy and his family. It's part of a larger issue with family vlogging. Parents turning their children into brands before they even hit puberty has become alarmingly common, and while it might seem harmless at first, the long-term effects are often devastating. Burnout, loss of privacy, and a childhood spent in front of a camera instead of living freely. Emma and Kate might be the next stars of Ryan's world, but their story is already mirroring Ryan's in uncomfortable ways. How long until they too are faced with the pressures and pitfalls that Ryan has endured for years? The Kaji family might think they have it all figured out, but the cracks are beginning to show, and the empire they've built is looking increasingly unstable. Ryan's world may have been a massive success, but it was built on the back of a young child who had little say in the matter. As Ryan grows older, the question remains, will his parents let him go, or will they continue to keep him tied to the brand? And as Emma and Kate step into the spotlight, are we just witnessing the beginning of another cycle of exploitation? The future of Ryan's world is uncertain. The brand might pivot successfully with Emma and Kate, or it might collapse under the weight of its own greed. One thing is certain, Ryan's world stopped being about Ryan a long time ago. It's now about keeping the money flowing, no matter who ends up paying the price.
You're on track to be a teenage billionaire doing YouTube. How much does Ryan get to keep of all this?
Oh, be careful, Ryan.
People recognize me and they're like, hey, you're Ryan. I just realized that we're famous off of it.
What's been the biggest sponsorship that you've said no to?
Millions of dollars. We lost revenue of 70%.
Just push through.
The story of Ryan's world is a reminder of the cost of fame and fortune, especially when it's built on the shoulders of children. As audiences, it's important to question the ethics of family entertainment that relies on the constant involvement of minors. At what point does family fun become child labor? And how can we support healthier boundaries for kids in the entertainment industry? The next chapter of Ryan's world could serve as a turning point, either setting a new standard for ethical family content or becoming a cautionary tale of what not to do. Only time will tell if the Kaji family will choose a different path for Emma, Kate, and even Ryan himself. But one thing is clear, the world will be watching closely. As the audience, we need to advocate for the well-being of children who are placed in the spotlight, especially in the ever-growing world of family vlogging. These young creators deserve the right to a childhood that is free from the burden of maintaining an empire. And it is up to us to hold content creators accountable for their actions. The fate of Ryan's world and EK world could influence the direction of family content across social media. If the Kaji family decides to prioritize the well-being of their children over the brand, it could set an example for other family vloggers and reshape how we consume family-based entertainment. But if the pursuit of profit continues to overshadow the needs of the children involved, it may serve as a wake-up call for the entire industry, and ultimately, a reminder of what should truly matter in children's lives.
It's been a tough few months for Ryan Kaji's family. Losing millions of dollars isn't easy for anyone, but when you make money off your own kid, sometimes karma comes back at you. Right now, Ryan Kaji's parents are definitely not having a good time, especially after the release of Ryan's World the movie, which flopped pretty badly. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let's go back a bit. Ryan Kaji used to be one of the biggest kid YouTubers, making hundreds of millions of dollars, mostly for his parents. When I say used to be, I don't mean he's done with YouTube, but he's not really a little kid anymore. Ryan is now 13, but he's still being used to make videos for young kids. Imagine being on your way to being a billionaire, but you can't even decide what you want to do with your life. Sounds fun, right?
You're on track to be a teenage billionaire doing YouTube. How much does Ryan get to keep of all this?
Oh, be careful, Ryan.
People recognize me and they're like, hey, you're Ryan. I just realized that we're famous off of it.
What's been the biggest sponsorship that you've said no to?
Millions of dollars. We lost revenue of 70%.
Just push through.
It's obvious that his parents are trying to squeeze out the last bit of content they can from him. I really hope they're not still making him do toy reviews when he turns 18. Ryan already missed out on a lot of his childhood, since he started making videos when he was just 4. Hopefully, they'll let him enjoy his teenage years. Who knows? Ryan's dad recently talked about Ryan turning 13 and how they're deciding if they should change the content to match a preteen audience or stick to animation. You know, all those important decisions about what will make them the most money. But the real question is, what does Ryan actually want? From the way his dad talks, it sounds like Ryan is just another worker. Seriously, dude, this is your son.
Right now, I feel like we're at the tipping point where like the movie is a great moment, and then from there, we wanted to kind of step aside and think about what we want to go. Ryan's turning 13 years old this year, so he's turning teenager. So we're thinking about, do we want to introduce something like that align with his age, like more for aligned to the preteen demographic, or we want to stay on with the going more for the animation. That's something we're kind of debating right now. But I feel like there's high demand for older demographic for Ryan, so we're kind of thinking about it.
Instead of worrying about making more money, maybe think about what's best for your kid. If Ryan said, "Hey dad, I want to be an engineer," or "Mom, I want to be a teacher," would they even listen? It seems like Ryan's parents care more about money than what's good for Ryan. At this point, Ryan deserves a break. Let the kid have some fun, like snowboarding or hanging out with friends, without worrying about the next big project.
If he came to you and said, "Hey, Dad, I want to be an engineer. Mom, I want to be a teacher like you," I don't want. What do you say? Like, it's okay to like leave all of this behind. If like Ryan were to call it quits, like what would happen to pursue something else?
Yeah, for sure. Because like when he got into snowboard so much, right? So I think last year, how many times we went to Japan for snowboard?
Like 4.
Oh, and speaking of bad decisions, Ryan's parents just released a movie called Ryan's World: The Movie, Titan Universe Adventure. They spent $10 million on it, and well, it bombed. It only made about $600,000 and got a 2.1 out of 10 rating on IMDb.
Full-length feature movie. That's a big step.
Are you telling me this man has his own film? Give me IMDb. Give me Rotten Tomatoes. Something. I need to know how good this movie is. So the movie is trash. This is ultimately an underwhelming influencer movie that's aimed at the YouTuber's huge fan base of toy-loving fans, but has little to offer to anyone else. Damn. I ain't gonna lie. That's crazy word.
Ouch. The movie was in over 2,100 theaters at first, but after a few weeks it was playing in fewer than 10. People were even posting TikToks of empty theaters. Imagine that. $10 million just gone.
You need us! She has a point. How's this for a point? I'm the big brother, I know best, and I'm in charge. The twins go home before they get us into any more trouble.
Ryan's parents even commented on one of these TikToks, thanking the person for watching their movie. They said something like, "Thanks for showing up and watching. It's a movie about bonds between siblings." Like, really? Stop trying to make it sound like a heartfelt family movie when it's just a cash grab.
Pick it up! Now you pick it up! That can't be possible. Emma, get! I have to save them. I'm going in. Whoa! What's happening?
It's clear they thought this movie would be a big success, but instead, it was a big failure. And I haven't even watched the movie. I mean, why would I? It's not really my kind of thing. The movie was clearly for little kids, especially the ones who watched Ryan on YouTube years ago. But the problem is, those kids grew up. Ryan's old fans are now teenagers, and they don't care about a movie for little kids. The whole thing just feels outdated, like they're trying to sell something no one wants anymore. The critics weren't nice either. There were only 2 reviews, but they were both harsh. One of them basically said, "This is what happens when greedy parents put their young YouTube star in a vanity project. It's not Ryan's fault, but this is what happens when you try to push something that's past its time. His parents thought it would be a hit, but instead, it's a wake-up call. Maybe it's time to let Ryan decide what he wants to do with his life." Ryan's parents have already made more money than they'll ever need. Hundreds of millions of dollars. They don't need Ryan to keep making more. They could invest that money, start a business, or just retire. But they need to stop using Ryan as their personal money machine.
I want to bring it back, and Ryan, just make me feel old for a second. What year were you born in?
I was born in 2011.
Okay, all right. And help me finish this sentence. If somebody was born in the year blank, they're old.
Oh, be careful, Ryan.
19.
Okay.
Okay.
80.
Okay. I'm still.
9.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
Another important point is that Ryan is growing up in an environment where he constantly feels the pressure to perform. It's hard enough being a teenager with all the usual challenges, but having millions of people watching your every move just makes it worse. Ryan should be given the chance to make mistakes, figure out his passions, and just be a normal kid. Instead, it feels like his parents are more interested in keeping the brand alive rather than focusing on their son's well-being. There's also the issue of boundaries. When your entire life is content, where do you draw the line between what's private and what's for the camera? Ryan's parents need to understand that not everything needs to be recorded or turned into a video. Kids need privacy, space to grow, and time to themselves. Ryan should be allowed to choose what he shares and what he keeps private, instead of being pushed into constant content creation. Ryan's situation is also a wake-up call for other parents who might be thinking about putting their children in the spotlight. It's crucial to think about the long-term effects. Fame can be fleeting, but the emotional impact it leaves on a child can last a lifetime. Ryan's parents have already made enough money to secure their future. Now it's time for them to focus on Ryan's happiness and mental health. The last thing anyone wants is to see Ryan burned out or resenting the people who put him in this position. If Ryan's parents can take a step back and give him the space he needs, maybe he'll have the chance to grow into someone who's happy with his life, rather than someone who feels like he missed out on his childhood. Letting him explore his own interests and figure out who he wants to be could be the best thing they ever do for him. Anyway, that's all for today's video. If you liked it, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments, do you think Ryan's parents will finally let him grow up, or are we going to keep watching this mess for a few more years? Let's talk about it. See you next time. You next.